Hello. Today's stories come from r/Am I the Butthole? We've got four stories. The first one is short but hefty. Am I the butthole for revealing my sister's truth to a family member that made everyone lose their mind on my parents and her? She, 40-year-old female, has been ignoring me, 21-year-old male, for 5 months since finding out that Grace is not my sister. She's my biological mom. And after finding this out, my whole life's been a mess. My parents pretended to be my parents because, from what they told me, it was better that way for everyone since Grace wasn't ready to be a mom. I've been wanting to hear her side ever since, but she decided to block me. My parents have talked to her because Grace wants to drop this and not bring this to her husband. They live in another state, so they're not close at all, but she basically didn't want this getting to her husband. I kept asking her to please just sit down with me once to hear her side, but she's been silent ever since. Why I'm asking if I'm a butthole is because the other weekend, me and my cousin had beers at his house. Me being drunk as frack, I started crying about everything going on. He asked me what's wrong, and I told him everything. It blew up. Nobody in my family knew about this. He texted his mom that same night. Next morning, I'm waking up to everyone blowing up my phone, even my parents, too. Now everybody in the family knows, and they've even reached out to Grace on my behalf, telling her if I want to talk to her, and she owes me at least that. This whole thing couldn't be kept a secret from her husband. He knows now, too, because she called my parents crying because they had a big fight. He's so mad, he's staying at his parents'. She's saying it's my fault now for not letting it go. And now it seems like everything in her life is falling apart, including my parents, because everyone's coming down on them too for lying this whole time. I know none of that would have happened if it hadn't been for me saying something. But also, I feel that after being the one who got lied to, I was owed some answers too. Am I the butthole? Ooh, so not the butthole. But rightfully, the judgments in the comments were very one sided. Let's hop into them because they spell it out really well. Sunflowers in Love said, based off of her reaction, it sounds like she's just as immature now at 40 as she was when she had OP. Illuminati Weave said, as someone whose biological mom pretended to be their sister well into my 20s, I can assure you that you caused less of a fuss than I did. Not the butthole. But to be honest, I didn't read the whole post. I just know that feeling when the truth is right there and you just get tired of hiding other people's problems, which were never yours to be responsible for. INM808 replied, how is this so common? What the frack? Jack Nicholson had this upbringing too. Wicked Lucky 214 said, not the butthole. Even 22 years ago, this secret was a bad plan and never going to be kept forever. And this isn't just her story or life, it is yours too. The Shambog replied, OP should also be prepared for the possibility that it's not the only secret that might come out. Next up, am I the butthole for telling my husband it's time to hash things out with my mom? I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm literally struggling with it. So, my husband and my mom don't get on, like at all. They fight constantly. Admittedly, mom is the one who usually starts, but my husband also escalates and refuses to let it go every time. It's exhausting for the entire family, and they don't even fight over something worthy. They just nitpick each other's words. My husband told me many times that the solution would be that he stops going with me over to my mom's house. I refuse this solution because it's not practical, nor is it fit for long term. Because I don't feel comfortable attending family functions by myself like I'm single. My suggestion is for him to try to ignore her at least, and he said he would try. On Mother's Day dinner, mom noticeably started commenting on my husband's mother, implying that she hated her children and isn't proud to be a mom just because she refused to celebrate with them. My husband wanted to respond, but I whispered to him to let it go and stay calm, and he did. He still looked visibly upset, but didn't say a word, which made me think that my solution worked. But I was wrong. Once we got home, he followed me to the bedroom and said, listen, I am never, ever going back to that house ever again after all the crap your mom did. I sighed and didn't say anything till he started throwing a fit about me watching my mom insult his and not wanting him to react. I snapped and told him he was acting childishly. He asked how, and I told him by giving out threats and saying he won't go with me to my mom's house again. He tried to make excuses, saying my mom created this situation and tried to put all blame on her. I told him he's no saint either. He has his moments and has a habit of letting things get this far. He said that I was the one who let things get this far by not setting my mom straight. I told him his problem is with her and that it's time to hash things out with her once and for all, just him and her. He sort of looked like I just offended him and told me I was wrong because this is my mom and it's my job to put a stop to her shenanigans and get her to understand that he was sick and tired of her BS. I told him he's an adult. Why should I defend him while he hides behind me? He was like, okay. Don't get involved in the problem, but don't tell me how to deal with it. Then walked out and stopped talking to me. He even took the couch, which made me think that he was punishing me for something I didn't do. Am I the butthole? Yeah, OP, you were the butthole. I don't understand how this is even a question. You force him to go because you're not happy with how he's handling it, and your solution is to basically tell him to take it? Can't wait to share the comments on this one. OP totally gets called out. Ewan had a few rebuttals. Admittedly, mom is the one who usually starts. Okay, so your mom starts crap. My husband wanted to respond, but whispered to him, let it go and stay calm. And he did. And you ask your husband not to defend himself? I told him he's an adult. Why should I defend him while he hides behind me? And then you refuse to defend him either. In this scenario, just who is supposed to be putting a stop to your mother's crap? The answer appears to be no one. He should just shut up and take it forever. And at that point, yes, you are the butthole. Robbie Lucian said, r/ just no mother-in-law puts it, you don't have a mother-in-law problem, you have a spouse problem. Only here the spouse is the OP and her husband has the spouse problem. Avocados Are Awesome said, I don't think OP even likes her husband. She just sticks around so she's not single. You are the butthole. Noodlebear23 replied, I think in the quickly coming future, he's not going to like her either. Our third story is, am I the butthole for not waking my husband up for his 5 a.m. walk? I'm 36 and my husband is 39. So for the past month, he's been waking up at 5 every night to have a walk. These walks would take about 2 hours. Side note to mention that this new, he's not trying to lose weight, he's pretty thin, he's not athletic by nature, nor has sports interests or hobbies. In fact, he hated doing any type of sport. I'm happy for him since it's an overall positive thing, but yesterday, he came home in the evening after work for long hours, then stayed up late playing with his phone. I went to bed at 10 after getting done with the mess and everything. I woke up by him yelling at me at 7 a.m., asking me why I didn't wake him up for his 5 a.m. walk. He said he missed it, and I'm responsible for that. I was so confused. I said that first of all, he always wakes up by setting his alarm. Why should I be expected to wake him up at this time? He yelled that he forgot to set his alarm. I said, so what? It's no big deal. It's not like he missed an important meeting or something. But he got more angry and said that those walks help improve his health and restore his energy and help him feel better. I made a comment about how missing one walk won't hurt, but he unloaded on yelling about how I was trying to prevent him from doing his hobby for some unknown reason. I told him he was sorely mistaken, even though I admit that those daily 5 a.m. walks around the Veterans Park are weird, but also his reaction? I really thought it was over the top. He stormed off and went to shower, saying I ruined his entire day. When he got out, he started avoiding and ignoring me. Even when I talked to him directly, he went to work and refused to respond to my calls. Really, I'm at a loss, like maybe it was something I said about his walks, but I really don't know. He's sulking nonstop as of now, and I'm literally about to lose my mind. Am I the butthole? So, obviously not the most controversial story, but okay. Who thinks he's actually going for walks? I wasn't suspicious of anything until that overreaction and then holding on to the grudge. That seems odd for missing one day. I chose the story because Reddit picked up on this right away and it unraveled from there until OP chimed in as well. Linnycat said, perhaps I'm crazy, but tomorrow I'd wake up at 5 a.m. as well, just to see where exactly he goes on those morning walks. But again, perhaps I'm crazy. The XGB111 said, for real, that's a totally weird response to being tired and missing a walk, a 2-hour walk. Holmes replied, dude, this is exactly what happened to my mom. Dad would go on 2-hour morning jogs. Later, she found out jogging wasn't the only thing he was doing. Excapade said, whilst I wouldn't have initially found the daily walks odd, his reaction definitely is. Wake him up at 5 a.m. every day for the next week and go walking with him to make up for not waking him up today. Bet he comes up with an excuse why you can't join him. Not the butthole. Strawberry 1217 said, not the butthole. I'm not convinced he's just going for a walk. OP replied, this is the first response I made, and I'm relieved I'm not the only one who is questioning those walks. Our last story is one posted about 9 months ago, but just received a great update and conclusion. Bridesmaid sues bride after getting kicked out from the wedding party over a haircut. For my friend's 3-day wedding, I had to buy 3 different dresses, including alterations and specific shoes, which totaled over $700. She also wanted specific hairstyles for each day. Unfortunately, starting in March, my hair started to deteriorate. Due to health reasons, my hair was falling out in chunks, and in May, I made the difficult decision to cut my hair. I told the bride about my decision 2 weeks before the wedding, and she didn't say anything bad. The following week, she came over to my house, and when she was about to leave, she brought up that she was concerned about my haircut, and I told her it would look good even though I wouldn't be uniform with the other bridesmaids. The following day, I received this message. After our recent conversations, I'd like to remind you of my boundaries. I've been very accommodating and graceful, but I can't allow you to disrespect me. As you know, my wedding has been something I've dreamt of for many years. Husband and I have invested a lot of money into the video and photos of this day, and as we reflect on this day in the future, we want to see our vision reflected in the memories. Since I asked each of you to be bridesmaid in 2019, I've been very clear and very communicative in my request. The timing of your decision to cut your hair and not inform me in advance is very upsetting to me. I would have felt respected if you had communicated with me more than a week prior to the wedding, so we could have worked together to find a collaborative solution. Your inconsistencies have concerned me, and while I sympathize with your health concerns, I'm not willing to compromise my vision to accommodate you or anyone else when you could have informed me in advance and we could have found a better solution. Since this is something you can no longer fully commit to, I need you to please step down from participating in my wedding. This was 3 days before the wedding. I immediately sent her and her husband an invoice asking them to reimburse for the dresses and shoes, keeping in mind that one of the dresses is still in her possession even though I paid for it. Neither of them replied, and so I decided to take it to court. I was told I was inconsistent and selfish after I spent the past 2 weeks helping her plan the wedding shower. I worked with another bridesmaid to surprise her with a bridal shower after our bachelorette trip had to be canceled. I spent hours helping her out with wedding details. When she asked me to help her tone up before the wedding, I sent her a personalized workout program and even went with her to the gym to show her the ropes. When I agreed to be her bridesmaid, I was more than willing to oblige with what she asked, even if at times it was a lot of time and money. So am I the butthole for taking her to court because she kicked me out for cutting my hair? Update. This has been a long time coming. I've had a lot of people reach out to me asking what the results of the case have been. Unfortunately, I could no longer post comments on my previous post as well. I figured I would wait until everything was done to update everyone all at once. In December 2021, I got the notification that a court date had been set for February 7th, 2022. It would be virtual, and since it's small claims, we would represent ourselves. I began gathering my evidence and created a virtual file which I shared with the court and her 7 days before the hearing. On the day, she did show up. We were given the chance to settle, but that was unsuccessful. When we returned to the hearing, I found out she also had made a virtual file with her evidence but never shared it with me. The court then made her share it, and what a surprise I had. She had copied my entire format for presenting evidence. Keep in mind that this is a format I created. She didn't even have the decency or brain cells to make something up herself. The hearing proceeded, and we were both given a chance to share our side. I won't go into the details of it, but it took probably 10 to 15 minutes. In my state, they do not give you the verdict right away, and it can take up to 90 days. And so I waited, and waited, and waited, and waited. Then yesterday, May 5th, almost 90 days after, I got a verdict. I won. She has been ordered to pay me the total of $808.94 for the dresses and shoes. I have to return 2 dresses and shoes I have to her. The verdict goes into effect May 30th. I don't see her appealing it, or fingers crossed she doesn't. All in all, I am very happy with the outcome and so ready to close this chapter. Thank you to everyone who has been so invested in this with me. I hope this was the season finale you were looking forward to. P.S. My hair and health are doing much better. My 3 bald spots are growing again, and I couldn't be happier. Yikes! What a toxic bridezilla. Well, I guess they're all toxic, but this one takes the cake. This poor lady starts losing her hair in patches, gets a haircut, which was probably already a big thing for her, and this bride calls it disrespectful? I'm glad OP decided, with some gentle nudging from Reddit, to take this woman to court. $800 is a small judgment to lose a friend over, but it really doesn't sound like she was much of a friend to start with. Let's read a few of the comments before we wrap up. Chartier said those bald spots could have been caused by the stress of being this lunatic's bridesmaid. 10 before 6 said, I'm so tired of people using disrespect in this way, the way Bridezilla did, I mean. Every single thing that happens in life that you don't like, disagree with, or is a result of people living their lives without you as the main character isn't disrespect. This was a medical issue. Token or Tolkien you POS said, when they start going on about their vision since I was a toddler for my wedding, I instantly shut down. Any sane grown woman would realize that life is not a Disney movie. There is no perfection. Women gain weight, they change their hair colors, length, style, they have babies, they get jobs, some of which don't pay well enough to accommodate your dream day. They have many other responsibilities that include other people other than you, Bridezilla. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.